I run a company called Mosaic in Colchester, and we now call ourselves the Integrated Marketing Agency. That's because over the years we've had to embrace digital as part of our mantra of what we do. Already we can start to see in my lifetime how things have had to change and evolve to meet the needs of the audiences and the technology that's coming into place. And very quickly, from the time that I set up Mosaic, you can see so many different technologies that have come in our lifetimes, however old you are. Blogger, iTunes, LinkedIn, Facebook, Flickr, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Google+, Snapchat, and so many more. It's a phenomenal number. And every time something new comes in like this, as a business, all of us as an organisation, we say to ourselves, which of these are relevant to our target audiences? How do we communicate most effectively with what is actually now a very fragmented group? Particularly in universities, Snapchat. The way that that's being used, and I've done some training with student unions, and I've seen some fantastic, phenomenal ways of Snapchat and how it's being used. And things like Instagram. It's very much a thing of the moment with young people. And so on we go. We suddenly found that we had all this mobile technology, audio and video capture. Suddenly you could do live video from your Twitter, from your Facebook, streaming video, Netflix. Who here has got Netflix? Who here hasn't got Netflix? A few. Faster broadband, getting faster and faster. I remember years ago doing some stuff at Essex Uni about the work they were doing with broadband and the speed of downloads. And it's incredible the work that's going on here within our very own universities in Essex. Instant messenger, email, cloud computing and storage. And actually, if I want to record people, I can just as easily now do it through my mobile phone with a little microphone attachment just like this. In the old days of marketing, so when I started Mosaic, this was how we reached our audiences. Newspapers, radio and TV. We would write press releases and we might take out ads or advertorials, which were paid for editorials. Outdoor media, so we would put campaigns on the backs of buses or in bus shelters or train stations. We would do newsletters and we would do direct mail through the doors of people's homes. We'd go out networking and we'd attend a few exhibitions, and that's kind of more or less what we did. And then suddenly, we had to contend with digital. So marketing now is this vast beast where we've got the website that sits at the core of everything that we do, but then we need people to find not just the website, but the detail, the content, the courses that we need. If you're marketing from a university perspective or college perspective, we need everybody to come in and find the information. So suddenly it's all about content marketing or inbound marketing. We're driving leads in through funnel marketing. We get them interested, then we try to convert them with something. Online advertising, native advertising, influencer marketing and advertising, getting very expensive celebrities and paying them lots of money to market your product. We have social media, of which there are so many dimensions, the Facebooks, the LinkedIn, the Twitter, the Pinterest, the Instagram, and so on. Content creation could be copy, infographics, white papers, videos, blogs, photos. Then we need to really focus hard on ratings and reviews. Text messages, mobile marketing, and suddenly marketing isn't about a few channels. It's about multi-channel marketing, and you might have heard the expression mobile first. So when we look at the stats of all the websites that we look after, what's really interesting over the last few years is to see that growth in mobile use and tablets. Are people still sitting at their desktops accessing information? Well, the answer is yes, they are, and it really does depend on the profession of the kind of things that you're promoting. There is a recognition that the world of the media has changed quite dramatically. But I know some of you have students who are interested in going into the media, and I always say, great, go for it. There are loads of jobs in the media, but they're not quite the jobs that you thought they were. To write for a newspaper now, the jobs are very few and far between. It wasn't like when I was in newspapers, there were a lot more jobs available. But if you want something badly enough, go for it. But you might be found that you're asked to do the social media as well. You might be asked to do video. You're expected to be multi-talented You're expected to have craft skills right across the piece. The world of digital isn't one dimension. You don't go in with one subject, one skill set. And I know at Mosaic, I'm not interested if people come to me. In the old days, I'd grab a journalist and say, yeah, you can write, that's brilliant. Now I want to see that they can create video. I want to see that they can do audio or can learn it or are willing to embrace it, because that's the way of the world. When we're asked to create content for websites, it's digital. So I'm going to now just do a little bit of future gazing in the world of digital into some of the hot topics. And I am one of the trainers for the Chartered Institute of Marketing's Digital Strategy Level 6 course. It's their diploma course. And I do that for a company called Academy for Marketing. And some of the subjects that we talk about currently are these things. And if you are teaching digital, you'll have come across these things. The Internet of Things. Thank you, Mr. Zuckerberg, for playing kindly for us. Big data, virtual reality, augmented reality, speech recognition, chatbots, drones, and so on. Robots, artificial intelligence, automation. Actually, there's so much happening. And people say, well, what's the future? And I'm like, no, just concentrate on the here and now, because everyone's trying to get to grips with some of these new things. Now, chatbots, I think, are on the cusp of becoming really big business. So with chatbots, what you're doing is you're programming in advance a series of responses to questions that might get asked. And the idea in some cases, you can just program it in and it will be exactly what you've told it to do. And in some, they're talking about the whole artificial intelligence, where it's going to learn from those answers, and then it will give different responses based on what your needs are, but from its own learning, so artificial intelligence. I have used a few recently, chatbots, just to test them out, and I have found them to be extremely poor. So I went onto a theatre website, I was asking various questions about, venues and events, and it couldn't answer my basic questions. I went onto the CNN chatbot, it didn't work at all. It said, ask me about news. So I said, what's the weather like in England? It was when we had the snow. And it brought up a picture of Donald Trump. What? So, there's a long way to go, but of course, what happens when all this technology comes in that replaces people? What happens?
There's teething problems.
Teething problems, potentially, yeah, but what else?
People move on to different jobs.
Well.
Reduces the salary bill.
From a business point of view, it cuts your costs down. But this is what we're talking about. This is the future. According to this study, millions of UK workers at risk of being replaced by robots. Now, we've heard this for a long time, but actually it does seem as though we're getting a little bit closer and closer to this being quite a reality.